All right, let's transition to the NBA.
Gotcha.
Because we're running out of time, and I really want to get through these quickly.
Let's do it.
All right, so hoops. Where we want to start out with? I can start in Brooklyn. I can start in Miami.
Start in Brooklyn. I want to hear what you got to say. I want to hear what you had to say about Brooklyn. You said something about KD, Kyrie, Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't been paying attention, the Brooklyn Nets are been balling. Spencer Dinwiddie has been balling. I mean, this team is 9-3 since Kyrie and LeVert have gone down with injuries, and this is on top of KD already being out all season. And what you're seeing is an offense strictly put around Spencer Dinwiddie. And there was a quote I forgot by head coach Kenny Atkinson. He kind of described it perfectly, if I can find it. Yeah. So he described him. I really like this quote he got from him. He said, "Quote, it's like on Spencer's evolution this season. He's like, quote, it's like having an elite running back. Like you can pitch to him and he can go get a bucket. And I think he's really getting better reading when they double team him. He's really taking another step as a player." Close quote. And the thing I've seen from him is, out of those 11 games they played without Kyrie, four of those victories have come against teams above 500. And even there was a game against the Heat where it came down to the final seconds, and this game was in Brooklyn, and Spencer Dinwiddie had an opportunity to win the game, had a game-winning floater that just came off the rim, but it was like halfway down. So my point is, Spencer Dinwiddie took his game to another level, averaging 20+ a game, and he's beating really good teams and showing me that he's a potential number one option if you want another team, or depending on when Kyrie comes back. So my question is, we know how Kyrie is, and we know the situation he was just in with Boston and the friction going on there when Tatum and Brown got their egos up and they found success making the Eastern Conference Finals. Right. I'm seeing a similar story right now with the success that Spencer Dinwiddie is having in Brooklyn, and I don't know how I feel about it when Kyrie gets back. What do you think? Do you think that's going to be an issue?
I think this is different.
This is different.
The reason why I think this is different is because Brooklyn, one of the main reasons why Kyrie and Kevin Durant decided to come to Brooklyn was because this was an egoless basketball team. This was a team of guys that understood their roles. They all understood where they fit in this organization, and they knew that KD and Kyrie were the two superstars coming to this team to take this over. So I think this is a situation where Kyrie is going to flourish. I think Kyrie is looking at this because I've been saying it all season, this Nets team is better than people think.
I agree.
Without KD,
1,000%.
Without KD not even playing yet.
Jared Allen is taking his game to another level.
This team right here, and Spencer Dinwiddie is no joke, because Spencer Dinwiddie was a Sixth Man of the Year. Was a candidate, or back like a couple years ago. He's continuously gotten better year after year after year. The problem was he wasn't ingratiated in the starting lineup. He used to always come off the bench and put up his numbers. That's why he got his contract last year. So what we're seeing from Spencer Dinwiddie is nothing but growth and maturity and understanding of the game. And when Kyrie comes back, he will continue to ball and do his thing. He just got to come off the bench. But I don't think this is going to be an indictment on Kyrie as far as he might run into the same situation as Boston, because I think the egos of these players on this team is much different than the egos that were on the players in Boston. And plus it's just a total different situation. You know, part of the reason why Boston got their egos up and why the players like Jason Tatum and Brown Rozier got their egos up in that season was because of what they were able to do playing at LeBron James in the Eastern Conference Finals, without Kyrie. Kyrie is going to come back very soon at some point. I don't see them making that big of a stretch. Say Kyrie gets hurt by the playoffs and he does. I don't see them making that kind of stretch where it would bolster their ego to the point where they feel like they're better without Kyrie. And plus, they understand that both Kyrie and Kevin Durant are coming back next year. It's special, man. And so I think they'll fall. I think Kyrie will fit right in line with what this team does, and he understands that. I think Kyrie learned a lot from last year. Kyrie learned a lot. He came out and said, with the passing of his grandmother, he wasn't as close to the team. And Kyrie is an introvert. When you're an introvert and you're trying to be a leader, sometimes it's hard because you're trying to stay to yourself, but you got to realize that you got other people that are looking at you and tending to you for your things and stuff like that. So I think he understands that, yes, he's an introvert, but he has to come out of his shell at certain moments and be the leader that the Nets want him to be, that he wants to be. So I see a much different turnout in Brooklyn than I did in Boston, for sure.
Listen, I am one of the biggest Kyrie fans ever. I know you are. I
probably am the biggest Kyrie fan.
Yeah, I know that. And me too. I think he's just an artist on the court.
Oh, yeah.
And I give him a lot more credit for Cleveland's championship than a lot of people do. I thought he should have won. I thought he was borderline Finals MVP. I thought he was a Finals MVP.
Yeah, that was just borderline. I got you. But LeBron,
but yeah, I predicted that before the series started. So I've always been a Kyrie fan.
I got you.
The only reason I bring this up is you mentioned Tatum and Brown and them having success against LeBron. Well, let me tell you something. Not only has Spencer gone 9-3 without LeVert and without Kyrie, but they've looked better with him than when Kyrie was healthy. Even when he was putting up that 50-point game at the start the season off, and he had that amazing game winner that never was, which he fell and was, what did he do, like a somersault on the floor, got up and shot that. That was one of the wildest things. If he would have made it, that would have been the greatest shot in NBA history, just FYI. But yes, and Spencer Dinwiddie, I get it. I love him. I've heard a lot of his interviews. I've heard a lot. He's even killed.
Oh, yeah.
And he always mentioned the fact that a lot of people already brought up this whole Kyrie versus Dinwiddie thing.
Already?
It's like, oh, they don't like each other. Spencer, I heard him on a podcast this other day with Vince Carter. And he was like, yo, people seem to forget we were friends before we got together.
Yeah.
But I also remember Tatum and Kyrie also being friends prior. They both went to Duke. They were both doing podcasts together as well. Yeah. And they were, acting all hunky-dory like great friends. And it still didn't work out. Now, I'm not blaming Kyrie. I am not at all. On the contrary, it's not his fault that the Celtics made a run without him. They can't blame him for that.
Yeah.
I can't blame him for what Dinwiddie's doing now. Like, and Kyrie's been great on the sideline. He's been giving Dinwiddie advice. He's been telling him, like, against Denver, he had the go-ahead bucket to ice the game. Kyrie was there on the sideline telling him. Yeah, he told him, yo, go left. And that's exactly what Dinwiddie did. So he's been a great asset. And I think Kyrie's, like, coaching or, pep talks to him has definitely played a part in why Dinwiddie's flourishing. But we just know how Kyrie is when there's another guy out there having success. And let me just explain to you why I think this might be a problem. Spencer Dinwiddie came from the G League.
Okay.
He came from the G League. That's where they got him from. He's never tasted what he's tasting now. That's what you mentioned. He never got off the bench. Now he's getting off the bench, and he's tasting that success that we didn't think was going to happen. But the same thing we thought wasn't going to affect Tatum and Brown and the Celtics when they got Hayward and Kyrie back is exactly what I hear you saying, but now, again, I don't think it's the same situation because Dinwiddie's older. He's more of a veteran than those guys. He's friends, I think, better friends with Kyrie than Tatum was because I think Tatum is just too quiet. I don't think
he was young. Coming into
and he's still young. Now, I'm not predicting this to happen because I think them three would be a great three-headed monster if they were to work it out and figure out the chemistry and the roles. Yeah, I could see OKC part 2. Hard in this case is Dinwiddie coming off the bench if Kyrie and KD come back next year. And and then you have like Russ and KD. In this case, it'd be Kyrie and KD. Yeah, so I could see OKC part 2.
You're absolutely right about them looking a certain way now compared to what they looked like, when Kyrie was there the first part.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people got to realize also that those were the early stages of Kyrie with the Nets. It was still everybody was still figuring each other out. Everybody was still trying to find their role on this team. And plus, this is a better roster right now than the roster that we started beginning. Adding an Iman Shumpert. One of the biggest problems with this team early on with Brooklyn was their defense. Becks, they couldn't stop anybody. And now adding Iman Shumpert gives you great perimeter defense. Their entire defense is starting to step up, and they're making big time plays along with that as well. So it's one of those situations where I always said people gotta be cautious and be patient with the Nets because they have a lot of pieces that they have to implement that just aren't here yet.
Right.
Like they had Wilson Chandler will be back real soon, coming off his 25-game suspension. They just added in Iman Shumpert. Karis LeVert and Kyrie will be back very soon. So it's one of those situations where wait till everything manifests together. And then we could say, oh, this might not work, But I think when Kyrie comes back, he's coming back to a different mentality, a different team, and a team that's more cohesive than they were when he was playing.
I could have sworn you just described Boston. I'm sorry, but I could have sworn I agree with you that I want this to work so bad, and I do. I'm not saying this is going to happen at all. But also, what's it called? Kyrie's first year, what do you call it? That was Kyrie's first year with the Celtics too.
Yeah,
kind of similar to how now again the Celtics looked way better before Kyrie got hurt, when he first got there, because they had the #1 record in the Eastern Conference before he got hurt. So a legitimate case can be made that they would have made the Eastern Conference Finals regardless if he was there or not. So I agree with you with that aspect. I'm just like, I'm scared because it looks exactly the same when you look at everything, when you just break it down, just X and O's wise, and it's just like, it's the timing too. It's just like, Kyrie, can you get hurt during the offseason, please? Like, stop getting hurt during the season and giving guys chances. Because it seems like every time you get hurt, some guy gets to step up, he's trying to come after your job. Or they're trying to run you out the building. But I don't know. But I also think it's just a pleasant surprise.
I just think this is different because these are, like, I think people learn from their mistakes and they learn from the situation. I think Kyrie learned from last year. You know, he wasn't the best leader and things of that nature last year. So I think he learned from that situation to come back with Brooklyn. He's home. He's in a situation that he wants to be. This is the first time he got a chance to choose where he wants to go in his career. So I think he understands what's going on right now, and he knows that, you know, the way this Nets team is looking right now, you add me to that. You add me to that picture. We could be a playoff team, a scary playoff team this year. So I'm as intrigued as anybody to see it.
Yeah. Now this could go one of two ways. Either what we saw in Boston, or this can completely lift them and get them to a level that I don't think a lot of people thought. Because I know me and you thought they were championship contenders next year. Next year, but I don't think some people are. There are no, I mean not this year. I'm talking about next year.
Oh, for sure. A lot of people come back. Oh, it's a whole different.
A lot of people.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people aren't willing to go there because of the Achilles. You know, the supporting cast with D'Angelo Russell leaving. So what I'm seeing from them this year, I think is going to catapult them back into that discussion going into next year.
Because they have pieces. You add a KD and a Kevin Durant, a Kyrie and a Kevin Durant, to already a Spencer Dinwiddie, a Karis LeVert, a Taurean Prince, Jared Allen in the paint, DeAndre Jordan. I mean Joe Harris.
Off the bench.
This team has sneaky, legitimate depth that won't get recognized or won't get the recognition they deserve until Kyrie comes back or until Kyrie and KD come back to really see how elite this depth is. But I'm telling you, man. This year they could be a playoff team, but next year when KD comes, it's a whole different ball game.
I'm going to completely contradict myself. I'm going to call it from here. I think they're making the finals next year if they're all healthy.
If they're all healthy?
Because that's how good I think it is. Now, I don't think my theory is going to come true.
I think it's too early to tell because I got to see what the Eastern Conference is like next year. Because, you know, that first year in Boston, Milwaukee was a 7th seed. Then next year they had the best record in the East. So it's good.